I'm gonna chill here and wait for a couple people to come in and join. This is actually where we ended the last live stream. Last time we walked this way. As you see, the river is quite flooded. What river you're looking at here is the Great Miami River, and this is where the Mad River here meets the Great Miami River. As we get over here, you're going to see parts of the bike trail is pretty flooded. Okay, I see there's 15 people in here. This is the Mad River, and this is where it runs into the Great Miami River. And as you can see, it's a little bit up higher than normal. This is where we ended the last live stream. Last live stream, we walked that away. This time we're going to walk on the other side here. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this right here where it says 1913 and this line that you see, that is the flood line from the 1913 flood. So anyway, we're going to walk over here onto the other side. Hello. Hey, Carl. How you doing today, Carl? It has been doing nothing but raining since the last live stream. So I figured we'd come back here and walk the other way. Maybe we'll walk this way toward town. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream. If you like what you see, please do me a solid and smash the thumbs up, please. As mentioned, this here is the Mad River. It doesn't look too mad though, does it? It looks rather calm and mellow. But I was saying in my last video, don't let that fool you. That smooth, calm, non-current look there that you see now, don't let it fool you. You get into even just ankle deep water, and that undercurrent can take you. And that's why river safety is important. Rivers can be very deceiving. You could walk a few feet out and be in maybe waist high water, and before you know it, Yeah, it's 15, 20 feet deep. I was trying to zoom in on that aeroplane. I can't even see it. Oh well. How many country? What do you mean? This is the United States, Dayton, Ohio, to be exact. So, the hot weather hasn't let up in England, huh? How you doing? It's muggy out here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen the river much higher for sure. It rained almost all day yesterday, and it was a pretty steady rain. However, it wasn't the heaviest rain in the world. Like, I've seen where this section of the trail right here has been flooded. I just talked to a gentleman at Kroger who is visiting from Arizona. He said when he left his home in Arizona, it was 112 degrees. He gets here, it's 85 degrees, but it felt, he said, 10 times worse. Now, as you see, this little grass section is pretty grown up. Used to, in years past, they would actually cut that down. And that's kind of a bad thing for, you know, a natural habitat like insects and such. Yes, my face is not show. This ain't a stream about my face. It's a stream about something better. Like this little butterfly. Well, actually, it's not a butterfly. Those are moths, but we've always called them little butterflies. Ooh, lots of bumblebees. Yeah, my face no show because this is not a talking head YouTube channel. This is a content YouTube channel about other things besides people's face and head. And I'm not talking about other people's content. We're discussing politics. We're out here in the real world. See, there's two flood lines here. The 100-year flood in 1959, and that's the flood line. Then up here you have the 1913 flood line. Huge difference there. But as you see that line, it overflowed the banks of the Great Miami. This is the United States. This is Dayton, Ohio, United States. Look, there's a little bunny rabbit there. Little bunny rabbit. Sure, definitely. I'll be your friend. Just subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. That's I don't know what that is floating down the river there. Something floating down the river. There's a little bunny rabbit. He don't even care. Hey Chris, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Just got off work not too long ago. Had to run to Kroger. Anyway, this is Riverscape Metropark here in downtown Dayton, Ohio, and as you can see, it is pretty flooded. Indian cricket team. Well, coincidentally, my cell phone service provider is Cricket. Normally this here would not be underwater. Three days. Oh man. 3 whole days. Over the weekend? Oh, really? The Cincinnati Open is pretty popular around the world. I'm not the biggest tennis fan. Well, don't get me wrong, I like tennis. Tennis is fun to play. I'm not the biggest fan at watching tennis, but big events like Wimbledon, I'll try to watch. But aren't these honeysuckle? These little flowers here, isn't that a honeysuckle? My bad, little bee. When we were kids, we would take these little flowers and you get this little sweet. We were like bumblebees. You get sweet nectar out of them. That little bird, can't you fly, buddy? Where are you walking? You're just running around. Yeah, you can fly. See, this is a kind of spot where smaller fish get trapped. You see there's quite a few little guppy fish in there. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? Oh yeah, I bet. It's always good. It's always good to get out of the city for a while. Ooh, there's a butterfly. An actual butterfly. A monarch butterfly. Somewhere in there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I don't know if you guys can make that out or not. Yeah, Cincinnati is pretty cool. Cincinnati actually has one of the largest collections of old world Italianate architecture in the United States. They want another little bunny rabbit. Honestly, I don't know why they don't just keep this entire section, the whole thing, as you see along the river here. Let it just be natural. It's why we don't see grasshoppers. They cut the grass and that kills the grasshoppers and little insects. Hey, how you doing, Christian? See all these geese, they're hanging out here in the shallow where the river overflowed the bank because fish get caught up in the shallow and it's free game. Christian, how are you doing today? Oh yeah, I figured I would come out and just check out the river, see how flooded it is. Or should I say not really flooded, but up above its normal level. There are some areas here in Ohio that received a lot of rain. There are some parts of Indiana that received 12 inches of rain, which is crazy. Even in Florida, you don't receive 10 inches of rain in a day. The most I can remember when I lived in Florida is I think we received like 5 or 6 inches of rain in a day. And for the entire week, that week, we received like 12 inches. Half the town was flooded. Those are Canadian geese. It has not cooled down here. I think the temperature right now is probably upper 80s. This is the Webster Street Bridge. Yeah, those are Canadian geese. I don't really know why they call them Canadian geese, because they stay here sometimes year round. They don't really necessarily always migrate in from Canada. So those are Ohio geese. Canadian expats. 88 degrees. Yeah, that's, I heard today's high temperature was 88. It's not even the temperature. The temperature ain't really too hard to deal with. It's that darn humidity. I'd say the humidity right now is probably 80-90%. All these little dragonflies are having a blast. Oh yeah, so you guys have geese and whoa, that was a big turtle hopped in the water there. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and walk up here. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying this live stream, smash the thumbs up, please. Oh, it feels better walking this direction. I got that wind blowing at me. Hello, hello. We have plenty of turtle in Ohio. We have big old snapping turtles. If I'm correct, I think they're alligator snapping turtles. We have box turtles and painted painted box turtles, and we are in Dayton, Ohio, USA. No, this is not Azerbaijan. This is Dayton, Ohio. But hey, this can be anywhere you want it to be, as long as you smash that thumbs up. We're actually at Lake Titicaca. I'm just kidding. We are in Dayton, Ohio. We're gonna go do a little urban walking. We're gonna walk up Water Street there. This light here takes forever. There's a Berlin, Texas. If you guys aren't familiar with the Bowian family, that's one of my subscribers who you see commenting. He also has a YouTube channel, so jump over there and support his channel too. His channel is more of a family channel. But anyway, right now we are in Dayton, Ohio. Chris was just in Dayton, Kentucky. I think what I read was there are actually like 52 different Daytons in this country. There's 52 different Daytons in this country. One of them is here in Ohio, obviously. The other, Dayton, Kentucky. I, by accident, traveling the country, ended up in Dayton, Nevada. Hey, you're welcome. So I've been in 3 different Daytons. I've been in, obviously, Dayton, Ohio, Dayton, Kentucky, and Dayton, Nevada. But there's only one real Dayton. We're looking at it. Yeah, like I said, I think I read that there's like 52 different Daytons. So anyway, this is Water Street. And these condos are relatively new. I'm not too sure when they built them. Well, actually, I think they're about a decade old now. They were built sometime between 2013 and 2019. I didn't live here when they were built, so I have no clue. I mean, there's multiple Daytons, but there's only one cool Dayton, you know? I don't know, Dayton, Kentucky is kind of cool, actually. I had some friends that lived in Dayton, Kentucky. Obviously, that's visitor parking. I'm sure the people who rent here have parking for themselves. I do believe Dayton, Ohio is one of the first U.S. cities to implement parking meters. I could be wrong. I do know that I don't know the year offhand, but I do know that back in well over 100 years ago, the very first paper speeding ticket was issued here in Dayton, Ohio. I think the guy's name was Harry. But anyway, the guy was going down 3rd Street at 12 miles an hour, where he received the world's first paper speeding ticket. What the hell? Couples drama. Jeez. A little bit of lover's quarrel over there. Wait, did you guys go to the Newport Aquarium? Because that's a pretty awesome place to visit. Obviously in Newport, Kentucky. A lot of people don't know, but Newport, Kentucky, especially during Prohibition, Newport, Kentucky was Sin City before Las Vegas was even Las Vegas. Before Las Vegas was Sin City, there was Newport, Kentucky. And that's where people went to gamble and whatnot. Yeah, next time you guys go back, since you've already went to the Children's Museum, I think go to the either the Cincinnati Zoo or the Newport Aquarium. Would be pretty awesome. Oh, well, they didn't run the light, but they were zooming through there, and that car was making a turn. One of these days, we'll do a live stream like we did before, where we walk around downtown. I just wanted to kind of get out and get a glimpse of what the river looks like. So I've got this bracket thing coming. Instead of like a single bracket that attaches to the bike handlebar, it's double. And even if it doesn't work out too well for my gimbal here, it'll definitely work out really well for my action camera that I do my recorded videos on. Because normal brackets to attach an action camera to a bike, you have to place either to the left or to the right of the headset of the handlebar, so you're either off to the left or to the right. This thing allows you to mount it dead center. But if it works with the gimbal, I'm going to make this gimbal in my hand my dedicated bike gimbal, and I'm just going to go ahead and buy another gimbal just like this, because at 30 bucks, you can't go wrong. I paid 30 bucks for this gimbal. I work for an air conditioning company, but for the most part, from the late 90s until about 2008, I worked in the auto industry. Run, little rabbit, run. I worked in the auto industry primarily, and then the General Motors plant here in Ohio went down, so I went into restaurant work. But I've done all kinds of work. I've done restaurant work. When I lived in Florida for a second job, I used to do repos. We'd go repo people's boats, cars, window air conditioning units, anything that is leased, we repoed. I did telemarketing and marketing. Right now I do clerical work, customer relations. Can't blame her. I mean, what kid would want to leave a museum dedicated to children? You know what I mean? But don't forget about the Boonshoft Museum of Natural History here in Dayton. They do have some interactive types of things that are good for children. So I'd like to go there for the YouTube channel, but as I mentioned before, there's so many more professional YouTubers who have covered museums, and I want my content to be more dedicated toward boots on the ground type of content. Highlight the bike trails. In the winter, yeah, I might post a few videos about baseball caps. Which, speaking of today, we're sporting the Florida Marlins. Yeah, I think, don't quote me, I think children get in to the Boonshoft Museum for free. I could be wrong. Just don't quote me on that. I'm not too positive. But I did recently look up admission fees. Caroline Park is, I know, $14 for adults. I don't know. I'm sure it's obviously a reduced price for children. Oh, that's a marlin. A Florida marlin. That is the Florida Marlins. That is a Major League Baseball team. Actually, they're not the Florida Marlins anymore. It's the Miami Marlins. And they have a completely different logo. Tell you what, all that talking about fish makes me want a big old tuna fish. Grilled tuna. That would be great. Ooh. How you doing? went ahead and did this live stream in vertical mode. And vertical because vertical live streams in YouTube reach the shorts feed. And in fact, I definitely have had more viewers. At one point I had 24 people in here. Yes, I love the NFL. Big boys. Fresh as big boys. Did you have you a big old double patty burger? Yeah, but if you're into baseball caps, well, this is vintage. This is from 1993, 94. But if you're into baseball caps, you can buy a new era of fitted pro model baseball caps. The same baseball cap you see the Major League Baseball players wear, you can buy them in Europe. You can pretty much buy them all over anywhere. But yeah, my favorite NFL team is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals, founded by Paul Brown. Paul Brown founded the Cleveland Indians, and that's why they are named the Browns. Let's go check out Wilbur and Orville Wright. You know what? Since we're here, we're going to do a little history tour. We've only been live for about 45 minutes. We're going to read all these plaques all the way around this thing. It says Huffman Prairie. It says after their first successful flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903, the Wright brothers could no longer afford extended stays so far from home. They needed an isolated field close by Huffman Prairie. Close by Huffman Prairie was a 100-acre pasture 7 miles east of Dayton. A quick trip on the interurban railway. The soggy ground was riddled with grassy hummocks, whatever that is. The wind was stifled by the surrounding trees, and the space was tight, but it would do. Torrance Huffman gave the brothers permission to use the field as long as they shooed away his cattle before taking off. The brothers began flying at Huffman Prairie in the spring of 1904. Most flights were short, however, and the plane undulated out of control. Though they flew 105 flights that year, they logged less than 50 minutes in the air. The 1905 flyer season began much like 1904 with the erratic flying and crash landings. After Orville survived a particularly frightening crash in mid-July, the brothers made changes. They incorporated all they had learned and some educated guesses into a new plane. The improvement showed immediately. Debuting in late August, the Wright Flyer 3 consistently flew multiple circles over the prairie. Accidents were rare. Often the brothers landed only when the plane ran out of gas. By the end of the year, their airplane was sound and reliable, a practical flying machine. In 2 short seasons, the Wright brothers had taken powered flight from erratic puddle jumping to sustained, graceful soaring over Huffman Prairie. Now, there's some other gentlemen, they say, invented flight. Well, that dude invented a flying contraption that was uncontrollable. These dudes, they invented flight as we know it. Controlled flight. Wilbur and Orville Wright. We're not going to read that. We're going to read all these little plaques around here. Sorry if my reading sounds like it's third grade reading. Some of the words are a little oxidized. Sir George Cayley, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, says after the Monty Golfer, whatever that is, brothers, mankind was ready to move beyond floating to flying. Sir George, in the first real study of aeronautics, identified lift, drag, and thrust as three forces affecting flight. His analysis of lift and drag allowed him to develop the basic shape of the modern airplane: a fuselage, fixed wings, and a tail. The difficulty he encountered was in thrust. Steam engines were far too heavy to be crafted aloft or carried aloft. Knowing this, Cayley turned his efforts to gliders. In 1804, he launched a small glider, the first man-made aircraft to fly. In 1853, he built a full-sized glider and ordered his coachman aboard a galloping horse toward the glider and frightened coachman down. What does it say? Yeah, that's what it says. Frightened coachman down a hill, and they soon lifted into the air, floating for 200 yards. Upon landing, the coachman resigned. For his studies and writings, Sir George is known as the father of aeronautics. From his conclusions, many went forward with theories and experiments of their own. The way was being paved for the Wright brothers of Dayton. See, this is the guy I just mentioned. But his flight wasn't quite controlled. And here's the Montgolfier brothers. It says Joseph and that's one weird name. Etienne? Okay. Anyway, the brothers living in France in the 1700s took the next steps toward reaching. Actually, we're reading these, it seems like, backwards. I think we should have started that one and ended at the Wright brothers, but that's okay. It says, anyway, the brothers took steps toward reaching the skies. They realized they could create lift from the heat of combustion. The brothers constructed a 309-foot diameter balloon made of linen and paper and launched it with heat from a fire on the ground. The balloon rose over 6,000 feet. King Louis and Marie Antoinette were on hand for the second experiment to see whether the skies could sustain life. The brothers sent a duck, a sheep, and a rooster successfully skyward. The next step was inevitable. Though the king refused to attend, two men climbed aboard the balloon. They rose to 3,300 feet and floated silently above Paris for nearly a half an hour. Wow. Though it would be 120 years before another pair of brothers would achieve heavier than air flight, people had finally propelled themselves into the skies. Neither they nor their dreams would ever leave. Cool. Really. Hey, welcome to the live stream. I set the live stream on DVR, so you can always go back and watch from the beginning. Leonard da Vinci says 400 years before the Wright brothers, Leonardo da Vinci explored the possibility of powered flight for the first time. Leonardo studied birds to decipher the mechanics of flight. Birds rely less on their flapping wings, he discovered, than the flow of air currents. They maintain their balance in those underlying winds by subtle movements in their tail and wings. Da Vinci studied how the wings were shaped, how the feathers were distributed, and how different areas of the wing performed during flight. Da Vinci's creative visions of manned flight were revealed in over 500 sketches. One design proposed a plane in which the pilot flapped the wings. Another illustrated a helicopter in which the pilot spun the blades with a corkscrew. From these early studies, Da Vinci concluded that man did not have the strength to power an airplane. Ultimately, Leonardo sketched gliders and designed craft that looked much like future airplanes. Chinese kites. It says the world's first aircraft were the kites of China. The Chinese military first fashioned bird-shaped wooden kites that were flown behind enemy lines to drop propaganda, to send messages to prisoners, or even to carry scouts who observed enemy troops and movements. Kites became affordable for common Chinese after paper was invented in China around 200 BC. People discovered wonderful tricks with the kites. Some attached bamboo reeds that rang in the breeze during flight. Others hung colored lanterns along the kites string, making a colorful night display. Fishermen still use kites today to lay bait in the in the sea. In the early centuries of kite flying, Chinese delivered a kite released into the sky would carry a bad luck away with it. Okay. Flight remained mythical and glorious. You know, the Wright brothers, they didn't even graduate high school. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Is it Isaurus or Icarus? Anyway, mankind began dreaming of flight long ago in ancient Greece. Greek mythology reveals this dream in the tale of the young Icarus king Minos, inspired, and his father Daedalus. Anyway, on the Isle of Crete, the two escaped, but with Minos searching for them, they needed to flee. Blah blah. Anyway, I'm not reading that. My throat's too dry for all this reading. Oh well, that was fun. I don't know if there's any more of those or not. Not too sure what this is. Peace Plaza, dedicated July 16, 2003, home of the Dayton Peace Accords. Oh, the Dayton Peace Accord is they helped bring a resolution to the Bosnian War. Okay, we got to read this one because this is about John Glenn. In the midst of the Cold War, the United States was losing face to the Soviet Union's superior space program. The Soviets had already put cosmonauts in space and were looking toward the moon. In the summer of 1961, with only one 15-minute space flight under the nation's belt, President Kennedy vowed to put a man on the moon. By the end of the decade, it was the tallest order the nation had faced since World War II. And the first step was to place an astronaut in orbit. For this initial step, an Ohioan would, that's where we are, Ohio, would once again emerge at the forefront of aviation pioneers. John Glenn was assigned to the task of piloting the first attempt to orbit the Earth. American scientists could only guess at what effect aerogravity would have on the human body. Could a person breathe properly, coordinate movement, swallow food? Glenn would find out. On the morning of February 20th, 1962, Friendship 7 lifted off. The craft glided into orbit around the Earth, and during nearly 5 hours in space, Glenn watched the sun rise 3 times. He suffered no ill effects from weightlessness. He splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean near the Bahamas, where he was picked up 21 minutes later by U.S. naval ship. The flight was a complete success. It's kind of hard to read some of these because it's a little oxidized. All right, I'm done reading. My throat's too sore. Not sore, just dry from... Dang, everybody left. They're like, this dude reads like a third grader. I promise my reading's a lot better than that when I'm not in a hurry and looking at some oxidized hoopla. Well, hey guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in to today's live stream. I hope everybody enjoyed today's live stream. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend ahead. Until next time.